Hello guys, this is Ignoramus and this is my Let's Play, so let's get started. I want to turn the text speed on to fast. And let's pick a nice frame. Perfect. Let's get started. This game is fairly old, so to be fair, there's probably quite a bit of nostalgia for me playing these games, but we can see how it gets on. Don't think my entire name's going to go there. So this isn't actually going to be taken too seriously by me, it's just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun, but me recording me having a bit of fun. Very bizarre, but we shall go through with it. Got to think how far Pokemon's come since these games. Well, bit of a fact, this is actually the first Pokemon game I actually ever played. Also, strangely enough, I think it's the only Pokemon game where you actually have a father. So for this playthrough I was very much debating on what I wanted to start with, but I think I'm going to go with the harder option of the three. Mudkip, Swampert pretty much can own the majority of the fights in this game. Torchic into Blaziken, same again, can pretty much own any fight all the way up until the end, but Trico does suffer quite heavily for the majority of the gyms, plus the leader, plus the Elite Four, and especially the champions. So obviously we're building our team a lot better. But for now, we'll start off with Trico. if my channel becomes big enough, I'll then start naming Pokemon after your guys' suggestions, but up until that point, obviously it's going to be a bit sad because it's just me. So I'm the only one that's going to be naming them, and my preference is that when it's just me like this, I tend not to actually name them, so I do apologise, although if it does grow, you can always go back to the name later and it will change. So I'm going to try and do this playthrough with about 100 hours. I'm going to make it so that I've completed the majority of things that are in this game. Now, luckily, Sapphire and Ruby don't actually have a massive post-game. So because of that, realistically the only things I need to complete in this game is to become the champion of the region, which is essentially the entire game anyway. But then on top of that, what I'm also going to attempt to do is capture everything that I could possibly capture in this version, with the exclusions of trade evolution Pokemon, because unfortunately, due to the nature of this game, I can't actually do that. Not with a single copy anyway. And unfortunately, Little Old Me doesn't have any friends to play with, so I'm going to have to just try my hardest. Everything's pretty much fairly standard at this point. All I'm trying to do is just gain some experience. Absorb, which will help for the first gym. So obviously for those of you who may not have played these games before, or if you're maybe a bit too young to have played them before, unlike the newer generations of Pokemon, you get the experience share as a key item, and it distributes the experience between all of your party. Unfortunately in these games you don't get experience for capturing, you don't get experience shared across all the way across the board. So it means that you do have to individually train them. Now, you can get the experience share, but it's a held item and it's only to one other Pokemon. So typically, you need to build your team a little bit better than what you could in the later generations. In the later generations, you could start off with some very weak mons and it wouldn't be a problem at all. But now, in these games, unfortunately, you do have to pick something that's going to be able to withstand a couple hits, because if it doesn't, it's not going to go very well for anyone. Now, there are a few tricks that you can use in these games, especially in Ruby and Sapphire, which is a pick-up squad. Now, I think if it comes to the later end of the section where we've beaten the champion, then I probably will use a pickup squad in order to evolve everything that I've caught. Now, what I'll attempt to do is at least catch the majority of Pokemon in this area before moving on to the next one, except for maybe potentially the 1% encounters, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't really want to sit here waiting for hours on end for 1% encounters to sort of crop up, whereas I suppose in the newer games it's actually quite interesting because you can use different methods to flush them out, and these ones you can't. It's very much RNG based, and without going into an absolute plethora of game code to find out what my base number is in order to find out how to RNG manip, I'm not doing any of that. It's very much just a casual playthrough. So as you can see there, I've just used Leer twice just to decrease its defense. For those of you who don't know, there are stats in the game. I'm not going to go into too much detail with them, but what you do need to know is that Pound is a physical move, and Leer reduces your physical defense, and because I've dropped it by 2 stages, it made it a lot easier to do. That's probably about the only easy fight that you're going to see that's through this playthrough, because to be honest with you, I'm not going to be over leveling any of my Pokemon at all. I think the majority of the time that we're going to be going through this playthrough, it's probably going to be on the nose as to what levels they are, but we shall see how we get on. I am going to do every single fight that I see though, because that's one thing that I never seem to do in a Pokemon game, is that I always seem to end up skipping trainers. And in particular, when I'm beating the champion, it does frustrate the hell out of me the moment that then a trainer that I've not fought might have a very, very weak mon, and I've got a full team of pseudo-legendaries ready. but it's the time wasting because you can't run away from trainer battles. So, which is something I've noticed with the Scarlet and Violet. It's very interesting that they don't make it so that trainers automatically try to battle you and you have to go to them, which is a bit of an interesting mechanic. I suppose they finally listen to some of the complaints of constantly getting bombarded by battles over and over again. I am going to make this episode just a bit shorter, only because coming into this I didn't realise how much time the video editing would take. In fact, everything up until the point of video editing is actually relatively simple. Creating graphics and things like that's relatively easy. It's not done to a professional level, but even just a basic level. The problem I've got is that I'm not very well experienced in video editing, so this is very much going to also be a learning curve, so it's sort of testing my bounds quite nicely. I'm just going to the Pokémon Mart at the moment because what I want to do is I want to buy some Pokeballs. Now, again, it's not like the other games. You have to buy sets of 10 if you want the Premier Balls. They don't just automatically give you them. Now, unfortunately, there's only so many you can buy here. So, I'll just do 2. So, let's have a look and see what we can find. Now, if I remember rightly on this route, you can get... Hey, that's exactly what I wanted. A Wingull, which is a butterfly type, which will come from later as well. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have it on my team permanently, or whether I'm going to have it on my team just for the first 2 gym battles. I guess we'll see how much of an attachment I grow to it. There are a lot of Pokemon in this particular game. I think it's up to about 202 if you include the mythicals. Now obviously I won't be going to quite that extent, but one thing that I will say is that for those of you that think that I'm going to be going for maybe Altaria or Badon or Slidon, I'm not. I don't want to completely ruin my experience by going through that, because they're rather OP, and as much as I'd like to have an OP team, it's very much just a casual playthrough. Now, for those of you that don't know, Dragon types are very, very powerful Pokemon because there isn't the inclusion of Fairy types in these generations, so it's very much a case their weaknesses are Dragon and Ice. The only issue that I have with them is that their experience curves are very, very high, so unless I want to sit here spending a lot, and I mean a lot, of time invested in training them up, which I don't, it's not going to be something that I'm going to be doing, and I'm not going to have them on my team. Now, there are some substitutes that I can definitely get away with. There are some Pokemon indeed that I can get away with that are pseudo-legendary, which are also in the slower EXP group, but it's one of those things where you want to make sure that your team's not all in the slower EXP group, otherwise you're just going to end up wasting a lot of time training up, and I don't really want to do that, because then it's going to be very boring, because even if I do it off camera, I'm still going to have to upload it, I'm still going to have to edit it, and it's not something I particularly want to do. Right, so we've just got Wingull and Zigzagoon. Now, the only other 2 that you can get in this area are Wurmple and Poochyena. Now, I will catch a Wurmple here. However, I know that you can get their evolutions later on, because bug types evolve ridiculously low, I think. But I know I can get their evolutions later on in the forest, or roots rather, I should say. So I'd rather get their evolutions through there, rather than opposed to moving it to RNG. For anyone that wants to discredit me, that's absolutely fine. There's tons of videos out there saying that it's not RNG, that it's based, but I'm going to say it's still RNG. I'm not wasting my efforts training up a batch just to get one split that's unfortunately what Wurmple is. It's a split evolution, one of the first of its kind, and it's great. You can say evolutions are also... The evolutions are also split evolutions, which is fair enough, but they're controlled, they're not randomised or anything like that. Right, okay... Nope, I need a picture. So when I edit this later, I'll obviously have Trico there, but what I won't do is I won't put up every single one of these because... apart from Windmill maybe. Because I'm not going to be including them in my team. They are getting deposited in the boxes where they belong, because I'm not doing that. Now, whilst I have caught some of these, obviously you can get their evolutions later on. If I choose to get their evolutions later on, then yes, it's also not a bad thing. I might actually start getting some experience actually, because that might be an idea. Rather than just wasting some time, I suppose. And there we go. Lovely. Now, let's hope I don't one-shot by accident, because I have a really bad habit of critting. Pokémon, I'm not supposed to. I'm actually going to leave the HP there because I don't trust it. I just know that I'll get a high roll and then knock it out. There we go. For those of you that have played, obviously, Leaf Green, Fire Red, and pretty much every other game after that, yes, there is normally a little bit of a spark that comes from the Pokeballs that lets you know that it's been caught. These games, because of the way that the animation's been done, unfortunately it doesn't, because it's a very new game. It's the very first one that hit for Generation 3. So for those of you that then maybe are wondering, am I going to be playing Emerald? Yes, I am. I am going to be playing Emerald, because Emerald, to me, whilst Sapphire and Ruby obviously do hold a bit of a special place in my heart, they are very much different games in my eyes. So, still getting used to my controller. You've got an item. That's fine. It's only a patch of eye. Can't find any items here. Right, okay. So I'll heal you up. Like I said, most of this is going to be more for my own benefit than anyone else's, because I don't actually plan on doing some massive YouTuber that's earning millions upon millions of pounds. I'm actually doing this more as a hobby. I work a lot of hours, and this might actually just help me de-stress. So, just to have a bit of an outlet, because normally I do just end up playing these games anyway, but I thought, why not just upload it, make some content for some other people. Maybe they enjoy it, maybe they don't. I don't really mind either way. And that's the very top. It's a shame that the move pools in Generation 3 are quite shallow, because if they weren't as shallow, then Lotad actually might have been something quite viable for this run. I'm only going to give it a few more tries, guys, because I know that there is a Surskit here, and I know that it is a 1% encounter, and yes, I know it's very, very rare. I know that Ralphs can also be caught here as well. But there is one spot that I swear by that where Ralphs spawns more. I'm going to give it one more encounter, guys, and then If you're wondering why I'm not training out Wingull at the moment, you'll see later on why, because there's a few trainers later on that have got certain Pokemon that are very, very weak to Wingull. In particular, it's water attack moves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to piggyback off of that for some high experience shield for a very low level Pokemon, whereas Trico can just sort of keep going and knocking out everything in its path. So that's Absorb, that's a Grass Move, Zigzagoon's a normal type, which is just effective. I can never for the life of me remember how the special and physical split happens, but by the looks of it, Trico's got a high special attack, which is good, because that's actually what we need. It's either that or it's got some particularly good IVs or EVs. Again, I'm not going into it. There are tons of videos out there, guys, that will explain it all to you if you're very much new to it, or even particularly much new to this generation in general. Like I said, these games are old because I'm pushing 30 and these games were out when I was very, very young. Despite them being very, very old, I still go back to them every single time, no matter what kind of new games come out. Level 9, special attack 19, that's good, that's good. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a short video. I think I'm going to get to the next town, and then we're going to go from there. See how I'm feeling. Wait till I can get the powers from my lord. Make my life a lot more easier. So everything I've got to do is that's hard to see. I believe he's got a level 3 Taillow, which is not a problem, but it does now use Peck, which is a flying move, which is huge effective against grass types. And I am so lucky that it hasn't decided to start pecking Trico's death. Would we get a Taillow for the team? I like to diversify, and considering the fact that Wingull is water flying, I'm probably going to go with not right now. Realistically, what you want to do is you want to try and get as many types as you can on your team, in particular, so that you've got coverage over different gym leaders, over the Elite Four, over trainers in general, all around home. The more diversified you are, the more coverage you've got, the easier time you can have. Now, I've done what I've said I'm going to do, because Trico's now 10. So I could probably get away with giving Wingull maybe a little bit more experience. Would be nice. Right. And we're in Petalburg City, just like that. You can hardly call these places towns or cities when there's only a few buildings, but you know, it's neither here nor there, is it? And to be fair, with the technology that they had at the time, aside from maybe a few locations, then yes, you would probably consider these cities. Right. So. Right guys, so I'm going to leave that there for now. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'm going to start loading a few more videos as we go along. Now, like I said, if this channel starts to grow, there will be a certain amount of things that I will be then willing to do, but ultimately this is very much just a case of a bit of fun for me, and I hope it's just a bit of fun for you guys as well. So that's me signing off, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.